My name is Miguel Cabo, and I would like to share with you now, I'll explain to you what the DAI middleware platform is about. And basically is to understand what we do is we take out the features, the characteristics of the different devices and provide, a homogeneous level to the upper levels of the layers. So this has been developed using the OSGI specifications version review 4 is a very powerful model to present the different components in order to establish a distributed node network by means of the OSGI, and this enables us to establish interoperability between all the home devices, household devices, as well as services. So the DI middleware platform is divided into two levels. We have the top level, that's the system itself, the middleware system, and the lower level is the integration level layer of all the automation technologies and home control technologies. So the top level layer and the DAI layer, as I said, includes all the services distributed based on packages. Those are the blue boxes you can see on the top right. Then you use an OSGI R4 specifications, and then the services are grouped into modules. The modules are a total. We have a total of 5 modules. And this includes the automation modules, which is control and automation of home services. Then home services modules. These are services for assisted living. Then we have this systems modules. Those are the system itself, which is the core of the DAI system. And then we have other modules, the web services module, which is for distributed services, distributed communications rather, and that is the Apache CX system. And then lastly, the access interface. And this, we'll talk about this module later on, and also we'll give you some examples of that as well. The access interface includes interaction between the person and the environment in order to how to access the system through these interfaces. And the lower level of the platform, we find the integration level, which is made up of programmable automation system, and here we have all the drivers for the household, for the home. This next point, well, the module, as I said, we have the access interface. The access interface is a full integration of all the interfaces from the user to environment interface. That's an API system that we've developed through web systems. This API system is developed in Java, for Android, for Caesar, for different platforms, and you can use that and access our system. In addition, this interface provides a subscription service, and you can subscribe to different services or devices, and that's one way of staying in touch with what's happening in the home. If an alarm is triggered, for example, the access interface would report to the subscribed interface, and you'd see that on your screen. So an example of this application is as follows, and reflected on the screen. On the left, we see the client node. In the middle, we have the access interface, and to the right, we have the different devices and home services. So the example, if you want to switch a light on, the client would have to ask for, will get to access the interface to put through your request, and they would try, and the system would try and find the response to this request, and then we get a response from the system, and then you get, and if you want to answer the light, I want to put the light on, and the response would be light is on. If you want to know the state of the light, for example, then the response would be likewise, well, light is on or light is off. Then on the bottom of the screen to the left, we have the subscription service. That is to do the services or different events of the devices, and this is done in a synchronous way. This is a summary of the access interface, the methods for the access interface of the API services interface. I think it's the first five that, no, it's the first four, top four that provide the home devices provide. But we could have the first function. We can integrate all that and say, right, get all devices, or we can just say just one, or you can say get device info. If we knew, say, which device we wanted to access from the very beginning. And then the next two methods is to get different devices or per room or services. Services would be, for example, lights or air conditioning and so on. Then the next sixth function will be the device functions, get device functionalities, or get functionalities of device. And the next one would be get rooms and get service, would be, for example, to the different chambers of the different rooms of the house or the different services available in the house. And then the last two is to interact with different devices. The example that we saw earlier, for example, switching on the light. If we wanted to know what the value of that was, you get value device, and you identify the function, and you identify the device. And if you wasn't to say act specifically on the device, you do the same thing. We pass on the function, and we have the device identifier, and we also provide the value that we want to allocate to that device. And then these last six methods are to have access to the home. So the first one is access to the house, so user authentication to enable it to use the API. The second, third, fourth, and fifth subscription services and devices. And then the last one is to close the connection, to log out, once you've completed whatever action you wanted to complete. So on the next screen is an example with code, so you can see how simple it is to access the house's functions. And we continue with the example of the light. This is an LED lamp that you can regulate. You can regulate the intensity. So the two functions that we offer are to on/off and to regulate intensity or luminosity, and that can be done using the methods we saw earlier to get functionalities of the device. And so you get the functions of the device and what actions can be performed on this device, and the different ranges or values that you can give to it. On/off, for example, you say switch to turn it on, and to get the value of the device, you'd say data switch, and then you have the range would be true or false. In other words, switch on, switch off.